I create characters. I do it as honestly and truthfully as I can. I understand the music of the comedy. I understand the music of the scene and the story that we're telling, and I serve the story as best I can, and I hope that I'm doing a good job. And that's what I'll continue to do.
Back to One with Peter Rinaldi.
Ken Marino is an actor. He sat down with me on the Upper West Side of Manhattan to talk about the work.
I don't mind having funny people on this show, but I think you're a little too funny.
Oh.
See, I have a problem with that. So I don't like to laugh a lot because
Why not?
I don't like what happens to my body. Like I like to be in control. You know, this sudden thing happening where I don't like that. So I would like you to just, is there a way you could tamp it down for me on this one?
Tamp what down?
The funny thing.
You think I'm doing it intentionally?
No, I think you're always funny. You're like what I call too funny. You're one of these too funny people.
Well, that sounds like it has negative connotations.
Yeah, I think it's
it seems
very
like
negative.
Judgmental.
I don't mind having you on. I'm just saying, can you?
I don't mind being on.
Well, good. But I'm asking you to just tone it down.
What would you like me to tone down?
Well, you're already almost making me laugh right now.
But that's not my problem.
See what happened just there?
Yes.
So is there any way because I'm going to ask you pretentious questions.
I like pretentious questions. And so I'll try not to answer them pretentiously.
Well, but you can answer them pretentiously.
Well, sometimes it'll come off like that, but I just so you know, when we go back and forth, you'll get a sense that I'm self-deprecating, that I don't take myself too seriously, and yet do take myself very seriously.
Okay, this is good. Here's a very pretentious question to start. Maybe this could end this comedy thing.
All right.
What is the origins of your comedy? Let me see how pretentious this could be.
And do I need to repeat the question since we're not hearing your voice?
We heard it. They heard that.
All right, what are the origins of my comedy?
Yes, and what I mean by that is I don't mean just your influences. I mean, like, in your particular type of comedy. I mean, at NYU, you met people that had your same kind of comedy, right?
Well, how would you define my comedy? I need to understand where you're coming from. I don't know if I have a brand of humor. And if you're asking what shaped my comedy, I don't know what my comedy is. I like comedy. I like to laugh. I like to try to make other people laugh. But I don't label my approach to communicating as a brand of comedy, or my approach to writing as a brand of comedy. It certainly was shaped when I, met certain people, different times in my life. In high school, there were friends who I bonded with and was like, there's a shorthand here where we make each other laugh, and that's how we communicate, and that's how we pass the time. And
wait, let me jump in here. Was there some doofus that tried to make you laugh and didn't?
Doofus that
Let's do it negative way. Like, wasn't there comedy that you didn't laugh at, and didn't that bond you with people too? Certain kinds of things.
No, because that seems to me, that sounds like a question where did I, just in your question alone, you're saying some doofus, like, that sounds judgmental. Like I thought I was better than said person, and so I punched down and made fun of him.
Well, no, I wouldn't
do that. That's not true. I did do that at times growing up, and I learned my lesson, and I felt guilty, and I felt bad, or I made somebody feel terrible.
Interesting.
And so I tried not to do that, because I think punching down and making somebody feel less than is, unless they're an asshole or a bully, a shitty thing to do.
Yeah, it's also not funny.
Well, I would agree with that. And if we're talking brands of comedy, there's a wave of comedians that's sort of happening now, or comedy that does punch down, that is making fun of, people who are in a less, I don't, for lack of a better word, power position than they are, or whatever. I think that I don't like that shit.
Yeah.
Now I have, as an actor and a comedian, I guess, I tend to play, one of the things that I'm good at playing are assholes.
Yeah.
The very people I'm talking about, which are people who punch down, and people who think they're better than, or people who privileged or feel like they're entitled. Like, I like playing those characters. I think I can tap into those characters in a way that sometimes people seem to respond to.
Yeah.
I play a good asshole.
Yes, you do.
But I'd like to think of myself as not an asshole.
Yeah.
But I am, for some reason, I have a good grasp on asshole. We've all, crossed paths with, shitty people. And
but wait, Ken, I have to say this though, as you're saying this. When I think about you and when I laughed at you, there was like this, it was slightly off center. You know what I mean? Like there's a way to deliver comedy. And if it's straight on, I don't laugh. Mm-hmm. And so if it's slightly, I remember the State being like that. When this is the old days. Like, people don't remember this. I'm 52 years old. Like, I was in my 20s. I remember that. I remember watching MTV and seeing that. And I remember thinking, like, because my friends didn't like the State. And I liked it. Yeah. But I didn't know anybody else that liked it. And it's because it was off. That's what I'm trying to find out. Like, did you just meet people that were equally off, that laughed at stuff off the target like that? And that's what's funny, when it's off the target.
I don't know. I can't break it down like that. I will say that I appreciate comedy. I watch a lot of comedy, as we all did, in different ways, growing up. I understood the language of it and wanted to emulate it. But when you understand how a joke is told, just like in everything, then you want to build on that. Yeah. Or if you're just doing it straight down the middle and people know what's coming, it's not going to be funny. Just like in any type of performing, most interesting things are the things that are unexpected, and so I don't know. I think that if you know that what the delivery of the joke is supposed to be, then it's fun to bend it.
Yes.
To do it a different way that is unexpected but still honors the joke. Yes. If that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
You know what I mean? So, but that's the case with not just comedy, but all acting, I think. Like, if somebody is supposed to scream no, and it's scripted no, and you're like, okay, I can hit that and make that funny, or I could subvert it and pause for a second and whisper no, maybe that's funnier. And so you try different things. But the truth is it's like any type of acting. In my opinion, it's you, as long as it feels like it's as if for the first time. You say it, and it's not, you may rehearse it, but when you say it, it's only said when you have to say it, and when it feels like it's you're saying it for the first time. Yeah. And people can pick up on that. Yes. Right? And that's not just comedy, that's just like sort of an acting, like I think that's as if for the first time is either, I don't know, from the group D or Bobby Lewis or Uta Hagen or somebody like that, right? And it's, and saying it, don't say it until you need to say it, is that, when you're an audience member, when you're somebody watching comedy, you lean forward when like, what's that person's reaction going to be? Yeah. And if it feels organic, where you sort of create some sort of authenticity and mean it and make sure that you're only saying it because you have to say it in that moment. A person watching feels that way too. Like they respond as opposed to a sort of rote, rehearsed thing. Yes. That being said, you always should, or from my perspective, not some people don't. Right? Some people have the shorthand where they don't have to rehearse. I like to rehearse something, the music of a comedy, of a comic beat, or a punchline or a setup, a bunch of different times, like athletes practice a swinging their bat, or the perfect kind of mechanics to shooting a basketball or swinging a golf club or whatever. But then, when you're delivering it, you have all those that muscle memory, but you don't think about that anymore. Now you have to sort of be free enough to kind of be like, and now I will just be in this moment, and I will. I know what the funny is. Now, how do I get to the funny? I'm not gonna try to do anything other than to be real about it.
Yes. And this brings up a question.
How's that for fucking pretentious?
This is what we're all about here. Because the idea of in regular work of doing something over and over again is one thing, but comedy is a whole other thing. How do you deal with the idea of, because if you're filming
the regular work and comedy,
meaning drama or comedy. Where the heck are you going?
I gotta get a napkin.
I didn't allow the taking of that.
Listen, I'm being presumptuous. I don't know what to tell you.
That's fine.
Okay, so what
I mean is like drama, just a regular straight up drama, like doing something over and over again is one thing.
Yeah.
But when it's comedy, so like the idea when you're filming, there is an audience there. It's the crew, right? And it's the other actors.
When you're filming a comedy for a movie or TV show.
Yeah. But I'm talking about like take 5 on that.
Yeah.
People aren't laughing anymore there.
Who's laughing on take 1? You're shooting a thing. Nobody should be fucking laughing, because then you ruin the take.
Well, they maybe, you could see them trying not to laugh.
I'm not looking at the people behind the camera. If I'm looking at the people in the camera, then I'm not in the scene.
Okay. So this is why you're great. So you're looking at what? The actors?
The actor. I'm acting with the actor.
This is great.
I don't see anybody.
This is very impressive.
But that's not true. I do, but like any acting, of course you have to understand the technical, but also be free enough to not think about the technical.
But I'm talking about on take 5.
Okay, we're on take 5.
Here's what I'm just trying to say.
I heard the first 4 were great, and take 5.
They may have been great.
When's lunch?
That's a lot of takes.
Gee, how many takes is this guy doing? I like a lot of takes, by the way.
Do you have this urge, though? This is what I really want to know. Do you have this urge on take 5 to change it up only because the energy has dwindled just naturally because they've heard it 4 times?
So there are many different schools of acting and comedy in terms of how you deliver something. I will reference this thing that I think about all the time, which it was a comedy. I think it was called, what the hell was it called? It was a movie with Jack Nicholson and Meryl Streep. And
Heartburn.
Yeah. And they were two, and I just heard stories about, when I was a young actor, like how Meryl Streep approached a scene and how Jack Nicholson approached a scene, right? And Meryl Streep would be rehearsed, and she would do the same version of the line every time, and every time it felt fresh and original and wonderful and real and connected, but it was like the same delivery every time they did it. And Jack Nicholson, every time they did it, you didn't know what the fuck he was going to do. And I always responded to that approach because I think that it's fun for me, selfishly, and fun to see what happens with the other actor when I approach a delivery of a line or something. Yeah. So I change it. I try to bend it
even
different
on take
ways.
Two. Even on take 2.
Yes. Well, and I've learned over the long time that I guess that I've been doing this is, I used to go into, now I'm digressing, but I used to go into shooting and try to do the text and play the music exactly how I thought that the director and the writer wanted it done.
Yeah.
even if it wasn't exactly how I wanted to go for it,
Yeah.
right? And then I realized sometimes we don't do 5 takes. Sometimes we do 2 takes.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes lunch is 2 minutes away. And
Yeah.
so they got to get the thing. And I realized the first thing out of the gate I should try to do is what my instincts are saying, as opposed to appeasing the sort of what I think they may want, the director may want, because inevitably what tends to happen, and maybe this came out of insecurity, and now I'm just like, is that they're like, we get to where I ultimately thought we should go, but I was nervous to go there. So now I just try to go with the first instinct that may be a little nutty, but or in my head I think, well, this is maybe too much. And more times than not, that is the thing that gets a response. Where they're like, oh, that was great. Okay, do more of that, or like. And I used to not do that, and then beat myself up over when I would see a cut, and I'd be like, oh, I could have taken that further. I don't know. I've digressed completely.
No, it's not. That's not a digression at all. So, but this is interesting, because then. If that doesn't work, then it's okay anyway, because they'll just tell you, that was great, but can you go back? Can you give me a normal one or something?
Yeah, so not even normal. Like, it's not like I'm doing something like abnormal. It's really just about like having the freedom to make a big specific choice that's grounded.
Yes.
Right? That is coming from a real place. And if it comes from a real place, then the choice is not going to feel necessarily big in a bad way. It's just going to feel like exciting in some way, and it will maybe bring something out of the other actor that you're in the other, that you're working with, because then they're on their toes because they don't know what's happening, and it keeps the scene, I think, more alive and fresh.
Yes.
I don't know.
Do you think at this point that there's this quote Ken Marino thing that they want when you come on and do one little bit part on some show or some movie? And do you try to subvert that in this way you're talking about at this point?
So do I get hired for the type of
I didn't ask
energy?
that.
No,
Why are you rephrasing
hold
this?
on,
No.
When is somebody's like, we need a Ken Marino tape, right?
Yeah.
And they bring me in. Your question is, do I try to subvert that?
Do you start thinking, oh, they want the Ken Marino thing?
If they hired me, they want Ken Marino.
Yeah, but are you even like thinking like, I don't want to do the Ken Marino thing on this?
Well, but what is the Ken Marino thing?
I don't know. I'm asking you if you think that people think that.
I think that I have been doing this long enough and been lucky enough to be hired on different shows, and I feel like when I come in, I think the Ken Marino thing is I'm going to.
It might be the asshole. It might be the off-kilter asshole.
If I'm hired if they hire me and they say, and I'm hired to play an asshole, then I'm going to serve the story and play the asshole, and I will give them variations of different types of asshole. Sometimes, I mean, if you look at the certain things I do, I either play, like I'll play like an asshole who is oblivious to being an asshole, and he's like, on the asshole chart, or there's somebody who like has really good intentions and is just not aware that he's a little abrasive. And those are 2 different types of assholes, right?
Yes.
One is like somebody you root for, and one's somebody you want to fucking kill. But they're both jerks. But what is happening on the inside is very different, right? Why, like there's different subtext, and there's different reasons for that person acting and behaving that way. And so that's the fun of it, right? To try to find the nuances of asshole if I keep getting called back to be asshole.
Yes.
So do I try to subvert it? No, I try to be more specific with it.
That's an interesting thing right there, right? That's what keeps you funny to me, because you don't just do kind of what is kind of expected, and what keeps you away from that is the specifics. This is why you continue to be funny for somebody like me, who's very much a snobbish person about comedy. This is why Ken Marino keeps making me laugh.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, and I'm glad that. I feel bad because you were saying that laughing makes you uncomfortable, and you want me to stop being funny. But now you're saying the opposite of that, which is,
all right,
you're happy that I keep making you laugh.
You caught me. You caught me.
I wasn't trying to catch you.
I'll take that out.
It's just hard for me to answer the question when you're playing both sides.
The character you played in the other ones.
The other two.
Character you played in the other two.
Yeah, we'll edit that.
I gotta edit that.
Well, now you get more editing to do.
The character that you played in the other two.
The other ones. Oh no,
this is the shit I don't want to have.
You
see
right.
that? That was way too much.
Yeah. The character?
This was a specific kind of. He wasn't an asshole.
He wasn't an asshole.
No, but he was that guy who was oblivious to how stupid he is, right?
Yeah, that's one of the. I like that character because you think he's a dope. And then you realize like, oh no, he's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
But he's just like, he's like slightly socially awkward or weird with people sometimes. And sometimes when he's in his element, when he's doing his job, he's in the pocket. Yes. But he's also, his personality is, he's a little bit of a, dork.
Yes. Yes. Were they starting to, maybe they were doing this from the beginning, I don't know your relationship to them, but were they starting to really write for you as the seasons went on, or were you even involved with some of that? Did you do
No, I wasn't involved on the other two. No, Sarah Schneider and Chris Kelly were the creators of that show, and they wrote these amazing characters, and I was really happy how they wrote Streeter, and as the seasons went on, they just kept going deeper into who he was, and they gave him so many wonderful layers in his personality that it was easy to sort of grab onto those things and play them.
You weren't thinking, okay, they're really they're loving what I'm doing, and they're really tossing me great stuff here now because they know I could hit this.
I mean, I think they were fans of mine, from the beginning.
Yes.
They probably it's one of those parts where I got offered the part, which I was thrilled about. Yeah. And then, the script was so funny, and and the character was so funny. My opening monologue in the first episode was like great.
I think I remember that.
And like I start talking about Chance and was his name Chance, and how he's like a son to me, and I get emotional, and if I talk about like all the different work, all the things that we can do to him, and change his personality. But like it was no, I don't remember your question.
Who cares?
You're a writer.
That's
too.
right. Yeah.
So
I'm a writer, and I co-wrote a movie called Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pest.
This is why you're in town.
That's right. It's at Tribeca.
That's right.
Right now, and we premiered at Sundance, and people really liked it, and which was a pleasant surprise because it's a ridiculous comedy, and sometimes we've done ridiculous comedies in the past, and people haven't responded to it as positively as they have responded to this, and I'm very excited because I'm very proud of the movie. It's a really dumb comedy.
And when you're trying to find this woman to play Gail, because I always thought Zoe Deutsch, I'm a big Zoe Deutsch fan. Mm-hmm. I mean, she was on the show 3 times. She hasn't been on in a while. I don't like her right now because she hasn't been on my show. But I mean,
she's been on 3 times.
In general, it's been years. In general, I like her a lot, and I think she does comedy very well. I always thought she should really do a comedy like this.
Well, she has.
Were you always thinking of her for Gail?
Or did you go out and try to find someone? And what I'm trying to say is Zoe Deutsch is not necessarily the first thing that comes in somebody's mind when they think of a comedy like this. But I'm glad you cast her in this because she could show she could do this.
Well, I think when we wrote it I don't know, almost 10 years ago. And then it was like we tried to get it made, and then it went away, and then we tried to do other things with it, and then it went away, and then we did a reading at San Francisco Comedy Festival, and then like all of a sudden like we were like, oh, let's try to get this made again. So we didn't know Zoe at that time. But Zoe had read the script and reached out to David, and David and Zoe had lunch, and they hit it off, and they were great. I think Zoe's a fan of like some of mine and David's movies, and
so she kind of petitioned for it.
I guess. I mean, they had one of those Hollywood, meetings where they
some fancy restaurant, probably outside.
I don't know the restaurant.
It was probably an outside restaurant.
It might have been like a bohemian sort of like ratty restaurant. I don't know what they don't do meetings in there. Did.
Ken, it was probably, let's just face it here now. Okay. It's probably an outside restaurant, with a lot of outside tables.
The weather is always great in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Of course. Well, that's what I was saying. You were implying it, but that's what I
think you were saying it's some other kind of bohemian thing.
I was saying just that maybe they didn't go to fancy.
Yeah.
But a bohemian restaurant would without question, would have an outdoorsy area.
That's true.
Where you can bring your dogs and, have little dog water bowls. And,
yeah. Well, how are we going to find out?
Anyway, what kind of dog do you have?
I don't have a dog.
Oh.
How are we going to find that out, though?
What?
Who are you going to ask about that?
I can ask David.
Okay.
Yeah. About the restaurant?
Yeah. Will you get back to us?
Yeah. You want me to text him now?
No.
No.
All right. What were we talking about, Ken?
How did Zoe come on board? So Zoe met David. They hit it off, and Zoe wanted to do it. And I went and looked at a bunch of I've seen Zoe's stuff, and then I remember she was like really funny in Zombieland, right? Was it Zombieland? And I was like, she was awesome in that. And so we knew.
You still didn't know she could do your kind of comedy.
Yeah, but we knew she's fantastic.
So wait, you do have your kind of comedy? I thought you were going to push back on that.
So as an actor, hold on. As an actor, I do comedies for all different types of people. So I don't say, my approach to acting comedy is one thing. My approach to writing comedy is very different. I write a specific type of comedy.
Gotcha now.
Right? Like I was in the state that was like weird and subversive and like meta and like Dada and like, weird,
almost surreal,
surreal, trying to kind of comment on the format, to comment on comedy, like that. That was the stuff that we liked to do, and we still do it together. When I write with David, those are the things that we lean towards. We like that. We like writing that together.
Yes.
When I write stuff by myself, I wrote a movie called Diggers with Paul Rudd, that Paul Rudd was in and I was in, and Josh Hamilton and Sarah Paulson and Maura Tierney and a bunch of people, Ron Elder. And that was more of a slice of life dramedy. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like The State. It wasn't like Gail Daughtry. Like I do different things. I directed a movie called How to Be a Latin Lover and another movie called Dog Days, which were a little subversive, but then also very, had a saccharine kind of sweetness to them and humanity to them at times, where the shit that David and I write, that's not priority. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if there is heart to it, or like a real moment, there's less focus on that, but we do want to touch upon that in slightly different ways. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So Gail Daughtry, a long-winded way of saying, Zoe is a fantastic actress.
Yes.
And when I got to, when she came on board and then we got to do it together, I got to see her process, and I was so happy with her process because I relate to her process. She is someone who changes it each take and tries to bend it in different directions to always make it feel fresh. And I love that approach. That was the Jack Nicholson thing that I was talking about. I love that. It's less technical. The technique is there, but it's about always never censoring yourself on what delivery you should give.
Yes.
And so when you watch Zoe, it's always grounded. It's always from a real place, even in the most absurd story, which is this story.
Yes.
You know what I mean? She anchors this ridiculous, dumb, stupid, in the best way, movie, from my perspective, and makes you care about her.
Yes.
And because of that, she elevates the movie and you care about the movie.
Yes. Yes.
As opposed to just a bunch of dumb jokes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So now you're rooting for Gail Daughtry in, a movie where she's running from a gun-toting, Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
She's, chasing down the head of a mafia, and she brings that. She grounds that.
Yes.
How do you make sure that people like we know that John Hamm is funny because I remember when I first realized he was funny, I think it was on Saturday Night Live. I was like, oh my God, Don Draper is funny.
Yeah.
Like that was the moment. Like, so we know, but somebody like John Slattery who's so funny in this movie. How do you know that he's going to be funny? You're not going to sit down and have a comedy audition for John Slattery.
No.
Weren't you worried he was going to deliver the funny?
Well, no, for several reasons. One, we'd worked with him before. He was on Wet Hot American Summer, the series, with David.
Well, this is embarrassing now. Of course I knew that.
Yeah, you knew that.
It's not embarrassing because I knew it.
You knew it, so it's not embarrassing.
I didn't want to say that.
Yeah, you didn't want to say it. You wanted me to say it, right? Because it's a good soundbite. And then, so we had worked with him before. And, we are big fans of writing ridiculous situations, writing ridiculous lines, and delivering them as seriously as possible. Leslie Nielsen.
Yes.
Did that.
Of course.
In all the Airplane, Naked Gun movies. And we like that.
Yeah.
And that certainly influenced us. And so, and anything I do, comedy-wise, I think that the only way to make something work is to say it truthfully.
Yes.
And so when you have when you hire an actor with the gravitas and the experience and the talent of John Slattery, you're going to have somebody deliver a ridiculous line in the most sincere way, in the most real way.
Yeah.
And without winking.
Yes.
Without overdoing it. And then also just technically he understands, the music of comedy. Like you talk to him and he's a funny guy and he has a sense of humor. And so he gets also, the certain rules of comedy, like, this particular line, don't make a meal out of it. Just run through it. Okay, this is an area where you can kind of take some time and just chew that line up a little bit and have fun with it. But he understands it. And he gets it, and he's also a brilliant actor. So
yeah,
you don't have a lot of concern about that. You're in good hands when you hire a really talented person who has a great outlook on life and is a good person.
Your character plays a photographer trying to get a photo of John Hamm.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you a picture that I took of John Hamm.
Yeah.
I think that this is the worst picture ever taken of John Hamm.
Yeah.
Can you describe this photo? Is this the worst photo ever taken of John Hamm?
I don't know if it's the worst photo, but it looks a little bit like, who's that actor? He looks like Greg Bierko.
Yeah.
There. If you showed me that, I'd be like, Craig Bierko.
I'm going to show this to Craig Bierko and tell him you said that.
Well, it
might be a compliment.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not like
that has.
It just doesn't look like John Hamm.
But is that the worst photo of a celebrity?
No.
I want one thing for myself.
Okay. Well, hold on. Ask me again.
Was that the worst photo of John Hamm you've ever seen?
Probably the worst I've ever seen.
Number one.
I'm going to say top 3, if not number 1.
Can we do this one more time?
Yeah.
Can you just give me the top spot?
Yeah.
Is that the worst photo of John Hamm you've
Number
ever seen?
Number 1 worst photo I've ever seen.
Thank you.
So,
thanking me for what?
I don't know. Why am I even asking you this? We only have a couple more minutes.
God, this is ridiculous.
Ken, do you want to venture into drama? Like full on? For at least a little bit, to show what you can do.
I went to school because I loved acting. I fell into a group called The State while I was at school that did comedy. And that was my comedy college. And I learned so much from all of those wonderfully funny people who are still working today. And they're super talented. And they're my brothers and sister. And I love comedy. But my intention was never to be a comedian. My intention was to be an actor. So if something came along that didn't have jokes, I would be thrilled to do it.
But don't you have to cultivate that? Don't you have to change our perception? People like me who just look at your face and start laughing. Like, don't you think
I
that
take offense to that.
It's happening right now? Do you know what I mean? Don't you have to start to change that for me? I can't just suddenly cast you in drama.
So what would be an example of me changing it?
Just
manifesting
saying to your team, guys, I'm taking a break from comedy this year. Send me out for
So quit the thing that pays my bills
for just a little while.
Just to make a point to be like, as opposed to keep bringing me the comedy stuff, and if anything dramatic comes along, let me know.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not up to me. What I'm looking for is somebody who's an adventurous person who can go, like, who's got power as a director or producer who goes, hey, you know what? You know who'd be good in that?
Yeah.
Marino would be good in that because I see the potential in his stuff that is not just, he's not just like a clown.
Yeah.
That being said, I like being a clown. I think comedy's hard.
Yes.
And I've realized over the 3+ decades that I've been doing it is that, like, not everybody can do comedy the way that I like it done. But I feel like I produce something that people seem to respond to.
Yes.
So I feel like I'm doing something worthwhile, and I feel like I have a unique take on the things that I do. That being said, of course it would be fun to do a drama. Of course. But I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah.
Like, I just saw my friend, one of my dearest friends, my sister, Carrie Kenny, in Four Seasons. Mm-hmm. And, since college, I'm like, Carrie is a fucking powerhouse. And Carrie's journey has been comedy. But, like, when you watch Carrie do comedy, you're like, she is so deep in those characters that if you pulled the jokes away, you'd be like, that's an amazing actress or actor.
Yeah.
Right? And she's been in Four Seasons for these last 2 seasons on Netflix, and she is killing it. Not just comedically, but when she has these, like, dramatic moments, it's beautiful. And so I saw her yesterday, and I told her, and I started crying because I'm so proud of her. I knew, we've always known that she's that good. She was given this wonderful gift of that show where they trusted and believed in her, and she, kills it. And that's all her training and all the work that she's been doing is, creating these characters. And that's, from my perspective, that's what I do. I create characters. I do it as honestly and truthfully as I can. I understand the music of the comedy. I understand the music of the scene and the story that we're telling. And I serve the story as best I can. And I hope that I'm doing a good job. And that's what I'll continue to do.
There's somebody listening that wants to send Ken Marino their drama. Give them a code word that will bypass the reps and get right to you. One word, go.
Hassenpfeffer.
Spell that.
I can't, but it's rabbit stew.
They'll look it up. Ken Marino, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening. Subscribe at backtooonepodcast.substack.com, where you can listen to back episodes, engage with other listeners, and support the show.